Khris Nedam, teacher. Khris Nedam, student. To be a good teacher, one is a good student, and Khris is a very good student. Seeking to broaden her own horizons, Khris seeks a distant land. To France, to Afghanistan, to Turkey, learning the culture, the language. Khris building a wider bridge, greater understanding for herself, but also for her students. Becoming the best teacher that she can become. Returning to her native Michigan, Khris would know, what is the next distant land? What is the new horizon? What new distant land would I seek? A new horizon, to her surprise, would be in the faces, in the eyes, the ears of her students, sitting in her classroom. A new distant land, in the minds of her students. Khris's goal, world-class citizenship for all her students. Khris Nedam, teacher.
I have the pleasure of introducing Khris Nedam. I have a special affinity for the work she does, and I'm very pleased to be in this role to introduce her. Khris is, in Khris Nedam's classroom, world-class citizenship is her teaching goal. Her educational experiences in France, Turkey, and particularly in Afghanistan brought valuable insight to her teaching young students to be citizen diplomats by investigating different cultures, by reaching out around the globe. Students are engaged with different cultures through guest speakers, the internet, and cross-country collaboration in her classroom. In 1998, her sixth graders in Northville, Michigan, founded Kids for Afghan Kids, a nonprofit organization that reestablishes facilities for boys and girls in Afghanistan and builds facilities to improve health conditions for their families. Her networking and advocacy have resulted not only in recognition from the governor of Michigan and the U.S. Congress, but also from various national and international resources such as UNICEF and the Peace Corps. The Kids for Afghan Kids project is endorsed by the Center for International Disaster Information. From her network of resources, she located a village in Afghanistan that donated 17 acres for a school there. Books and immunizations have been obtained from UNICEF. These efforts also built a school, a medical clinic, a bakery and kitchen, guest house, orphanage, and the only deep water well in the area. And school enrollment is now at over 1,200 students. Khris Nedam's nominator is Greg Bergen, a fellow teacher. A cash award in her honor will be donated to Kids for Afghan Kids. Please help me welcome Khris Nedam.
Thank you for the award from the committee that reviewed everything. It's quite an honor to be up here, and it's an amazing honor to be a fellow honoree with all of the exciting other things that everybody else is doing. As a teacher, I'm used to having students with me, and as I accept this award, I'm really here representing them. There's hundreds of students in the United States that have worked on this project, and I'm also representing thousands of kids in Afghanistan that need an education. One of the things as a teacher to me that was very important was to help my students understand what life is like for other students around the world or other children around the world. And as they learned about that, and especially learned about the kids in Afghanistan, they really wanted to reach out and help. And they decided that the best way they could reach out and help was to provide an education for the children in Afghanistan. They thought that they didn't want to do something that was a one-time donation or a one-time Band-Aid, but to make a lasting impact in Afghanistan and to be a big-time help there. If they provided the children with an education, then those children would have hope for their future. And at a time when Afghanistan wasn't probably a very popular place in America, they really impressed me with their perseverance and their determination to stick with something, even when a lot of the adults in their life told them they couldn't do it, and that Afghanistan maybe wasn't a good place to be. They had a dream to see education be there, and they especially had a dream to see girls in school there, and they stuck with it. And over the last 10 years, they've reached out to educate other children about Afghanistan and about being world-class citizens, and they've reached as far as schools in France and in Belgium, and now we have some schools in Australia that will be joining us, so we're really excited about that. My principal at school where I work says to him the most important thing was when 9/11 happened. He had students in his school as young as kindergarten, first, second, third graders that understood when 9/11 happened that they had friends in Afghanistan and they could distinguish the difference between the bad guys that did terrible things on 9/11 and who their friends were in Afghanistan, and they wanted to make sure those friendships stayed together and lasted through that whole situation. So thank you for recognizing the work that we've done, and thank you for this incredible honor, and hopefully as they continue to grow up and continue to spread the word, there's an Afghan proverb that says, drop by drop you'll create a river. So our goal is drop by drop, as we touch child by child, we'll create that river of understanding and world-class citizenship. Thank you.